What would an Arduino program that could blink a single LED on and off every 3 seconds looks like? For beginners, even a simple program such as this can be challenging to write. This is because Arduino IDE or the Arduino software only understand codes following a specific syntax. You can think of syntax like the rules in grammar, spelling, and punctuations in English. And Arduino is a very strict grammarian. If there is a missing semicolon or a misplaced variable, the Arduino software will not run your code and it will report an error. For starters, we can outline the program that we want to write using pseudocodes. Pseudocodes are not actual codes. In other words, they will not be executed if they are uploaded into an Arduino board. But they are very helpful in outlining what you want your program to do before actually writing it using the Arduino language. Here's a sample pseudocode for blinking an LED. Then, here's how the program will look like if written using Arduino language. Looking at this sketch will introduce you to the most important functions in Arduino IDE: the void setup, the void loop, digital write, pin mode, and the delay functions. You might have noticed that there are two blocks of codes enclosed in curly braces, one called void setup and the other void loop. These functions are always present in all sketches. They automatically appear if you create a new sketch. You can think of them as templates where all of your codes need to be placed. The block of codes under void setup is also called the preparation block. In here, you can communicate to the microcontroller in which Arduino pins your components such as the LED is connected, as well as what they are supposed to do. Will they produce an output, like a blinking LED? Or will they give the board an input, like a sensor? We use the function pin mode to specify this. The function pin mode requires two parameters, which you can see inside the parentheses, separated with a comma. The first parameter asks which Arduino pin number should be set as an input or an output, and the second parameter asks what mode to set it to. Since the LED is connected to pin 2 and will produce a digital output, the line of code was written this way. Also notice that each line of code is ended with a semicolon. A semicolon acts like a period in a sentence. It tells the microcontroller that the line of code has ended and that it can proceed to process the next line of code. The void setup function is only executed once during the start, but the void loop function is executed indefinitely, as in a loop. This block is also called the execution block. The first line of code under the block uses the digital write function to turn the LED on, or in Arduino language, high. This function requires two parameters, a pin and a value. The first parameter asks what pin should be set to high or low, and the second parameter set the pin to either of the two settings. A setting of high means that 5 volts of electricity will be delivered to that specific pin, while a setting of low means a voltage rating of 0 for that pin. The delay function will perform the wait in our pseudocode. This function will pause the program for a specific amount of time. Hence, its parameter require a time input. The parameter is in milliseconds, which means putting 3000 as the parameter means that you want the program to pause for 3 seconds before the next line of code is executed. Notice too that if you correctly type a function, it will automatically change the color of the image. or to color orange. Meanwhile, comments turned into gray. And that's it for your first program.